Arthur would be in a much less forgiving mood than even Nate had been. The enemies of Avalon had seemingly dropped off the face of the earth, too. Even Hera, who'd claimed London as her own only months before Arthur had woken, had been quiet. Any trouble had seemingly been taken care of by Avalon as Arthur sought to regain control of an organization that had been trying to tear itself apart for too long. The lack of people trying to kill him and his friends had made it easier for Mordred to walk away from that life and try to find answers. He'd travelled the world and eventually arrived in America so that he could talk to people there who were considerably older than even his own 1600 years. Elaine had been around for thousands of years. She'd probably seen everything there was to see. If anyone had an answer, it would be her. Elaine had contacted him a month earlier to give a date, place, and time to meet. She told him she had information about the prophecy that he needed to hear. One of the big problems with the Fates was that while they often saw a future, it was not necessarily the future. And frankly, the whole thing made Mordred's head hurt. Just because the Fates saw something didn't mean it would happen, but they'd told Mordred that they'd seen no other way forward for him and Nate. He was still thinking about his reason for being in New York and trying to stop whatever future lay before him when someone cleared their throat. Mordred looked up at a woman on the other side of the table, standing next to one of two leather chairs. "Is this seat taken?" she asked. "Of course," Mordred said with a smile. "Sorry, I was miles away." "Do you do miles? It's kilometres here, isn't it? I'm never all that sure which British words Americans understand." The woman smiled. She had a nice smile, Mordred thought. In fact, she was a very attractive woman. Her long hair had been dyed a mixture of greens, blues, and even a little red. Several strands of bright green hair had been tucked behind her ear. She had a multitude of hoops in both ears and a dragon tattoo on one arm that started on her wrist and vanished up the sleeve of her blue t-shirt. The other arm had several different tattoos, but Mordred was only interested in the Mario and Princess Peach tattoo on her forearm. "So it's taken?" she asked. "Sorry, I said of course, didn't I?" Mordred motioned toward the chair. "Please, take a seat and ignore my inane ramblings." She placed her drink on the table between them and sat down. "Nice tattoos," Mordred said, pointing to her arm as he tried to decide whether she was human or whether she was an enemy. "Thanks. I'm a big Mario fan. You play?" Mordred smiled. "I've been known to annoy friends by humming the theme tune, so a little, yes." The woman laughed. "I'm Cass, by the way." "Mordred." She offered him her hand, which he shook, and he noticed that on each of the nails on her hand was a Mario 1-up mushroom. The small green image made Mordred chuckle. Cass looked at her nails. "Yeah, I'm a bit obsessed. Zelda, too." "A woman after my own heart," Mordred said. "I only recently got into playing video games. I had some things to work through, and they genuinely helped. Wind Waker was a special favourite of mine." "Oh, that's a beautiful one. So, what do you do when you're not drinking coffee or playing Nintendo games?" "Oh, not just Nintendo," Mordred said quickly. "Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid. And I just realised you weren't asking me about my video game habit. Sorry." Cass laughed. "It's okay. You're passionate about it." "That is one way to put it. As for what I do, not much of anything at the moment. I'm in New York to see a friend of mine." "King Arthur?" Mordred shook his head. "I hope not." "Were your parents big fans of the folk story?" He quickly understood that he was being mocked, albeit with affection. Mordred decided she was human after all. He was certain that anyone who knew of Avalon, Arthur, and Merlin wouldn't call it a folk story. "The Mordred thing, yes. I'm afraid it's my real name. My parents gave it to me and everything, though I have no idea why. You get used to it." "Well, you're the first Mordred I've ever met." She smiled and sat back in her chair, as if at ease in her surroundings. "And I've met a lot of people with unique names." "So, what do you do, Cass?" "Ex-Army. Left 2 years ago, and now I work at a charity, helping people like me readjust to normal life." "A noble goal." "Thanks. Sometimes it's hard going back to being a civilian. You see things, do things that maybe others don't understand. Things you don't always want to talk about with anyone who wasn't there." "No, I get that." "You military? You have that look." Mordred's smile was tinged with sadness. "I guess you could say that, yes. I've certainly seen and done things that a lot of people wouldn't understand."